Hi, you guys. Good morning. Um, Hold on. So I'm at a drop off. I came here a couple days ago. Do you guys remember when COVID came in 2020 or 2019, whenever it came? Wait, first let me get out of here, but I wanted to show you guys how cool this is. Look at this. Isn't that cool? I just feel like that is a really cool piece of artwork. Okay, let me get out of the way. So anyways, during the time of 2019 to 2020, I was subjected to a whole lot of stuff. Well, I mean, just from 2015 to present, I've been subjected to a whole lot of stuff. But from that specific period, there was this weird theme with odor. Odor, not aroma. Okay, the difference between odor and aroma is that one is desirable and the other is not, right? So, morning. So, under that understanding, oh my God, my nose is red. I just blew my nose, and I think I wiped off a little of my foundation on my nose because it looks a super red. Babe, does my nose look red in real life? I finally got Xavier to get his stuff together and get into the vehicle. Thank God. Yesterday, we were successful at that. But anyways, so what I was trying to say is during that period when I was being subjected to all this weird stuff, there was a time at which point I began identifying an odor by the name COVID. And I would say, oh my God, it smells like COVID in here. And that's a real odor. It's an awful odor. I don't know how else to describe it. It is a strong, nasty, overwhelming, just almost like a chemical burning in your nose holes and the back of your throat and your ears. Like all of your soft mucous membranes feel in pain when that odor is around. And I just discovered a building that has that odor inside of it. So I don't know what that means, but I went to make a delivery at that building a few days ago, and I could taste it and feel it burning. And so I made the delivery again today, and it's very, 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 very abrasive. So I don't know if my awareness is just extra high today with regards to sensory interpretation, or if they're doing something extra in these environments, but very, very, very abrasive odors and like burning. And then I don't do drugs or drink, and from what I can tell, the demographic doesn't permit most of that. We were in Wrigleyville, people were drinking. I had to force Xavier to not be there anymore because I wanted him to focus. I want him to focus on his art. We've created a business plan multiple times where we, as a husband and wife partnership, build and create and establish relationships within the realtor sector for the purpose of employing each other and collaborating with each other's resources. Xavier and I create artwork, stage the walls of their open houses, and that's an automatic lead for potential sales of artwork. We could create a dollar amount per room and say, if you want the artwork to stay, to the buyer, if you want the artwork to stay, this is how much it will be in this room. This is how much it will be in this room, etc. and so forth. And if they don't, then we take it down and go use it to stage another house. So that's what I want him to work on. And do you want to say hi? So in that environment, he was having a very, very rough go of it. He was not able to focus. He was not able to even like get dressed regularly. He was very stressed out. He was very, I think I told you guys when I approached, or maybe it was my son I was speaking to, or my daughter, or his father, or maybe it wasn't you guys, but I lost Xavier for like 4 hours. I couldn't find him anywhere. I was at work and he always rides with me in deliveries, and he was refusing to get in the car, like something was wrong. He just kept saying, I can't. And I'm like, what? Why not? He always does, every day, without exception, for months and months and months into the years. So I'm like, why not? And he couldn't come up with anything. And there was a certain portion of the demographic trying to claim that I was behaving in a predatory way against Xavier by not permitting him to leave. I've never held him from leaving. Like, I've only observed him being, used in very weird capacities that don't align, and said to him, this is not good for us. We have to go. But Xavier, I can't pick him up off the ground. If I tried, he's way bigger than I am. And, there's no way. I don't have the ability to force him to physically move from a location, So, long story short, I found him walking through an alley in a trance-like state. His eyes were just like glossed over and very large. It was just really scary to see. And I called his name, Xavier, and he didn't even turn to acknowledge. And then I said, babe, didn't turn to acknowledge. I beeped my car horn, didn't turn to acknowledge. And then I pulled up right next to him, like this far from him. And he goes, like that with his face, and the eyes that he had, they were like large and round and like glossy. They went back to like regular eyes, and he was like, what, like he couldn't gather his bearings to even know where he was. Like, he was like, what's happening? Like, where am I? And I'm like, you're in an alley wandering around with all this stuff. Like, how do you not have awareness during all of this, And that was the first time I started to get scared about what happens with him when I'm not around. And then from there, they just made the feeling of getting an injection on my butt again. And then from there, it's like the feeling of what happens if I don't have awareness. Do I always have awareness? Do all humans always have awareness? Is that a right, a law, a requirement, etc., and so forth? So I still really don't know, all of the answers, but we're trying to find out, so. Oh, and then while I was doing a delivery, some like really crude individual started shaking his genitals at us. It was so gross. He came really close to the window in a really rude way, and I was like, I can't back up anymore. Him and his colleague had really done a really poor job with the cones. It's really not that difficult to set up some cones, You just look where the cars need to drive. I mean, maybe it is. I've never set up any cones before. But the point is, they set up the cones in a way that didn't permit the bus to like squeeze by, and I couldn't leave. Xavier was like coming from this area and location with no phone or ability to know where I would go with all of his things here in the vehicle. So I was going around, and I couldn't even say anything. Like, I didn't have a chance to speak. He just started grabbing his genitals and shaking them at us. And I got really scared, and I said, you're an animal, you should be in a cage. Yeah. And I just felt like really confused and scared, and like I didn't understand. I still don't understand. And I don't know. It was just really weird. But anyways, those are the main two weird things that I've observed so far. This weird chemical taste that there's been a lot of like haters saying to me like, oh, you wear too much product from Sephora and Ulta, you wear too much perfume, or that's gross, or whatever. I just have to disagree with you. Like, perfume is not gross. There is nothing about a fine fragrance. My favorite is oud. Oud, O-U-D. I love oud. I love it. Bergamot, oud, myrrh. I love those fragrances. I absolutely love them. Oh, oud the most. O-U-D. It's just amazing. I don't have any real words for it. And it doesn't cause me to feel like someone is burning off the mucous membranes within my body. And it doesn't cause me to feel pain in my throat or ears or nose. So please, whatever's going on with that, please stop doing that. And now we're passing through the Chicago Stock Exchange as we speak, where my stepfather worked for many, many years. And I really don't know what that means or what you do in there, but yeah, back into the downtown area, and that's the update for today. And I hope everyone has a great day. I got 2 car washes in the last 4 days or 5 days with the expensive car washes when you get to choose which one. The $20 one that gives you the clear coat and the lava shield and the heated dry and like all of the bells and whistles. And it's guaranteed for 7 days. I never understood that, because if it's guaranteed for 7 days and they give you a free car wash, but you have to have it within 7 days, why would you need to have it in 7 days? Why wouldn't you have it on the 8th day if the car wash is guaranteed for 7 days? So that's always been confusing for me to try to understand. Ugh. Why wouldn't you just do that? Like, what the... Give everyone an apartment. Well, everyone capable of caring for their apartment. Yeah, I do like do-right donuts. They're just classic. Like, they have a way, how like some people do something and it's like, oh, that was great. And then everyone else is like, oh, I can do that too. And you find like your overachievers who definitely can do it better than anyone, and it's fabulous and amazing and like over the top. But like, you can only really experience that like one time. Otherwise it's like, whoa, it's like completely off-putting after that. Do-right is like the perfect donut. The perfect donut that's, it's classic, classy, traditional, but it's next level at the same time. But it's not too much. Do-right donuts is the Gwen to the hospitality market in Chicago of donuts. And if you've heard me identify the Gwen as being my favorite hotel on a number of occasions, I really mean it. Mind you, my son does work at Dunkin'. I don't know if he still does, but he used to. So shout out to Dunkin'. I love you, Dunkin', for your iced coffees and affordable $6 meals. With who else would be able to have a bagel sandwich, an iced coffee beverage, sweetened to your desire, and a hash brown for $6? Like, that is ridiculous. And for that, Dunkin', you are the real MVP. But with regards to do-right, Gwen and do-right, the Gwen and do-right, they're in the same caliber. The Gwen is not the Four Seasons. The Gwen is not the Ritz-Carlton. The Gwen is not the Park Hyatt. The Gwen is the Gwen. But you don't always want the Park Hyatt or the Peninsula. or the Waldorf Astoria. Sometimes, for me, most of the time, you want the Gwen, you know? So anyways, I just wanted to say that. And if you know, then you most certainly know. And if you don't know, then I hope you find out. And I hope you guys have a great day. Xavier, do you want to say bye? Xavier says bye. I want him to be more active in my social media postings, but only under the terms, right, only under the terms and guidelines of he is being controlled or influenced, or his behaviors are being permitted under a moral and ethical understanding that is congruent with the one that he and I chose to exist in and raise our child and my other 3 children in congruency with. I mean, that could be, but I really think that you are going to have the most success with regards to your art by the staging idea that I created for you, and collaborating with real estate partners. I really feel that way. So anyways, all right, you guys have a great day. Talk to you guys later.